Welcome back. And so today we're gonna go over this market prep so far and like recap for this month. So starting off, we have these little chicks, and these two were from I think last market, so they're a lot bigger obviously than the rest because I slightly changed the pattern, and I also like used a smaller hook. Honestly, I think they look cuter, so so we have like I think 11 of these. And so for these I used the Bernat tweed yarn, and I think this color may or may not be discontinued, I'm not sure, which is kind of sad. I think I have one roll left-ish, and then there's like 4 of those, and there's 6 of these. I think the Bernat mystical yarn. Honestly, this is pretty soft compared to the tweed yarn. This is a little bit more rough and a little more textured than this one. I think this is pretty soft, so it's really nice. I think this either is a blanket yarn or a tweed yarn. I am not sure because it disappeared. I don't know where to find it. And then this was from like the Bernat baby blanket sparkle yarn from last time's market. And here are the hens and the bigger chickens. So I use the same yarn for most of these. I think maybe some of these might be from last market. There's 13 of them in total with the mysterious blanket yarn. The tweeds, there's a few tweeds. Oh, there's a lot more than I thought. Oh, and yeah, definitely from last market because I used the different eyes. Oh no! And then the mystical ones. And this one is the Premier Sprinkle yarn that I got recently in the unboxing video. I wanted to make this bigger, but I think since I used the same hook size, it did only slightly bigger, a little more chunky. But I'm gonna try and make a chunkier one with a bigger hook size. So we made a few fluffier animals. We have a few box cats. It's a little bit, this one's a little chunkier. We have 3 of those in total. This, I think, was the Premier yarn. I think we got in like a huge bundle mystery box. And then the 2 mystical cats, and then we have a bunch of mochi cats. I wouldn't even call them mochi cats. I think they're called stretch ball cats. We have, I think, 7. There's a few tweed ones, and I'm not sure where we got this yarn from, but I remember using it for a lot of the chickens in the past markets. And same with this one, I just found the yarn. And then a mystical one, and then another Premier yarn one. And I think those are all the mochi cats. And then we have 4 loaf cats. I actually found this pattern online. I'll link it in the description because yeah, and then tweed and the gray Premier yarn. And then for funsies, a dog. I know, he looks a little burpy. And then a bunny, which also found online, so link it in the description. It's on YouTube. Moving on to sea creatures, we have axolotls and some octopus. These are from the mystery box, Premier Mystery Box. They're chenille yarn that we ordered, and I think this one was the same, except same like the, I don't know what they're called, the flare things. And then I think this is a different yarn. I'm not sure. I think it's still from Premier though. And then we have 3 big ones from, I think the yarn's from Loops and Threads. I like their chunky yarn. And then this yarn, this one. I think this was also Premier yarn. I don't think it's the same type. It's not chenille yarn. And then now we have octopi. We have 6 big ones with the Premier sprinkle yarn, and then with the same chicken yarn, and then this one's actually kind of nice. It reminds me of cotton candy. So is this one. And then we have 2 medium or size ones, and then 3 tiny ones. This one's really tiny with the worsted weight yarn. So small. So as you can see, we have a little lineup of from smallest to largest. This is the octopus using worsted weight yarn. Use a small little boy. And then we have the velvet yarn. I think we used, it's a pretty small hook size. And then this one's the Premier bunny yarn. It's pretty fuzzy. I don't think most octopi look like that. And then this is the blanket yarn. It's a little bit bigger than the bunny yarn, but I don't think it's not really that much bigger. And then this is the Premier XL Parfait sprinkle yarn we got in that one unboxing video. And now we have another box. Here's some of the leggy frogs. I think these ones have longer limbs. So we have 3 in total. This one is really sad. It doesn't have very long arms. And then we have a different type of frog, the cheeky frogs with cheeks. So we have a really big one. I think we went over this in the previous video. I think there's 2 more. And then the chenille yarn, the velvet yarn, and then worsted weight yarn. And then that's not the only thing. We also have turtles, and their shells are backpacks. And I have a little secret. But I think the bobble stitches are not holding up very well. But yeah, we have the chenille yarn, and we have the velvet yarn and worsted weight yarn. And we have, let's do this together, 2 stingrays and 4 whales. I think this one was the chenille. These were all chenille yarn except for this one. I think this one might have been velvet. And then these 2 are also chenille yarn. And then we have the dinosaurs. I only have 1 dino that looks like this. I think I'll link the tutorial in the description. By the way, those aren't mine. And then I also found this, I think I may or may not have messed up on this one because his face is a little protruding that way. But I tried to alter it to make it a little more symmetrical, I guess. So we have two brontosaurs, I think. Brontosaurs. I think I used chenille yarn for both of them. Oh yeah, that one, where'd it go? That one was also, the other dinosaur was also chenille yarn. And then the more chunky dinos. This one was made out of chenille yarn. I think this one is velvet and chenille yarn. It's, I think, a slightly bigger crochet hook size. And this is same velvet yarn, but I think the yarn is slightly thinner and we used a different, oh, and another whale. And here we have some vegetables and fruits, and some little animals. So I think we are missing one. Another one's upstairs, a blueberry. We are making a bigger one with the loops and threads, like the thicker yarn. I think this one's made out of velvet. We have, I think, 10 mushroom bombs. And I think this one was velvet. I think most of the other ones, oh, another. I think this one's blanket yarn, actually, not velvet yarn, sorry. And then 2 velvet yarns. And I think two, like, oh, another one that I can't carry. 8 chenille yarn ones. We have 2 pairs of peas in a pod. This is a Valentine's Day one. Same thing, chenille yarn. And then blanket yarn. And then we have a velvet yarn one. It's actually decently smaller. Oh, decently smaller than the chenille yarn. We got 2 peeps. I think he's a little traumatized. This one's a little cuter. Sorry. And then a pigeon. I know he has pink feet. And finally, for our big items. Oh, well, mostly big items. So starting off, it's not that big. A dove, I think, with, I think, the olive branch. Don't think that's a great olive branch color. Yeah, not a big fan of the feathers per se. There's a little bit too much flare, but yeah. Oh, and the eyes, it's closed. And then we have a strawberry turtle. This is, I think, chenille yarn. I think it's the Crochet by Jenna pattern. I have a very big jellyfish. It's a little bit too chunky with a lot of curls. Jellies. And poly impacts. Please buy them together. If you ever do see us, please buy them together. Please. So that's a wrap for the market prep so far. We only have 2 weeks left, and in those 2 weeks I'll be busy studying for AP exams, and so I'm sorry if we don't update as much or post a lot, but yeah, market is on May 10th, the Kaleidoscope market in, really sorry if we don't update often because I'm gonna be busy studying my AP exams. So So that's a wrap for today, and thank you.